Hey guys, welcome back to Whiskey Blooded. It is Wednesday, so we're going to be doing our normal whiskey reviews. My name is Dave. This is Whiskey Blooded, and today we're going on through our 4-part series of the Glenmorangie Scotch gift pack. So today we're on the third of the fourth video for this gift pack. So to show you guys what I picked up and why we're doing this is a 4 mini bottle pack that you can pick up for about $30. And I've mentioned in previous videos, I'm not a huge Scotch drinker, so this is me attempting to get into some more Scotch with a more popular brand like Glenmorangie. So this one today that we'll be doing is the Quinta Ruban, which is here, if I remember correctly, here. So let's look at the Quinta Ruban. So here's the pack for those of you that haven't watched the previous videos, and we'll be pulling out this one here today. That guy. So this is the port cask matured Glenmorangie. It's still 12 years old, like the La Santa and the final one we'll be reviewing, but the original is only 10. So this is a 12-year-old port cask matured. So let's jump into it. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to pour it. So port cask wine, or port casks, means that you're maturing in port casks. So that's Portuguese wine or port wine. And I believe, and I don't know wine very well at all, but I try to research a little bit about what I drink before I drink it. I believe that means it comes from a specific area within Portugal, and I think that's called Douro Valley, I think is how you say it, and that's about all I know. So port wine, though, is a sweet red wine. It's like a dessert wine, but it comes from a specific part of Portugal, and from my understanding, it's very good. I don't know if I've ever just tried straight port wine, or Portugal, port wine, Portugal wine, I guess is how you would say it. I'm not entirely sure. I typically had maybe 4 glasses of wine in my life, but still, it's good to know kind of what you're drinking. So what we would expect is that this is a sweeter, if it's a sweet dessert red wine, we would expect this to taste the same if it's matured in port casks. So let's go through this. So like last week, we reviewed one that was the last one, the La Santa, was from the sherry casks. This one now is from port casks. So as you can tell, and they even put this on their description, this one is much darker and redder in color than the other ones that we've gone through. There we go. Much darker and redder in color. And more red in color. And as far as the smell goes, it's definitely got that sweet smell on it. It's got a sweet smell, it's got a cherry smell, it's got a raspberry smell I'm smelling. This light apple note and a little bit of honey. So it is similar to the sherry cask with the La Santa, but it's a little bit more on the redder fruit side. As I mentioned, the raspberry, the cherry, there's definitely some apple in here. It's a little bit sweeter. And it has that distinct sweet wine smell. So very good on the nose, very light, very sweet. So as we taste it, right up front, that's the most intriguing part about this particular drink. Right up front, it's a nice big blast of fruit, of light, as I mentioned, red fruits. It's like that. It's like eating a raspberry and a cherry and a grape and just sucking it in. And that is, a very nice initial taste. It's almost like drinking a juice. And then after that, you do get some of the age of that 12-year-old statement coming through. Tasting a little bit of the wood, followed by just a little bit of that malty taste. And then at the end, just a slight burn of just the tiniest bit of tobacco. and just a little bit of black pepper spice at the end. So, it's got a great balance to it. I really do, last week when I looked at the La Santa, I really do like the La Santa, and this one is a very, very similar taste to me, but more on the fruit side, less on the Scotch side. So this is definitely something that I think that someone that's newer to whiskey would appreciate. And I think it does an interesting thing to Scotch. When I look at some of the port finishes, for example, on the 1792 port finish, which is for whiskey, for bourbon technically, although not, but on 1792's port finished whiskey, that I don't think plays with the bourbon notes quite as well. This really does tie into that kind of classic Glenmorangie taste a little bit better because it's on that lighter, fruitier side. And as I'm tasting this with like I said, the nice raspberry, apple, cherry, grape taste up front, it's like I said, like a nice, almost like a fruity dessert wine drink up front, followed by some of those Scotch notes, some of that wood, that age, a little bit of that pepper and tobacco that you're kind of grown accustomed to with this kind of drink. So I think it's great. Very similar, I think, on the rating to the last one we did. So I'm going to score it here for you guys, and I'm going to put this one. Oh, you know what? You know what I haven't been doing is going through the price on these. I actually don't know on this one. I think it's probably about 60. I think it's probably about 60 for the full bottle. I think most the 10-year-olds 40. The La Santa and the Quinta Ruban I think are about 60, and if I remember correctly, the Nectar is probably about 70. But I've never bought a full bottle of them, so I'm just going off of the internet or what I think I've seen. But as far as this one goes overall, I'm actually going to say here a 90 out of 100. And I think that's a great score. I think that for this one, I would probably like a little less of the port. Can you guys see that? You can't even see that. I would like a little bit less of the port. There we go. And that's about it. I mean, everything else is great. It's just, it's just like what you'd think. It's like the Glenmorangie added with that sweet taste up front, a little bit more of the spice on the back end because it's 2 years older. But that's, basically what I think about this one. I really do like it though. I mean, I think it's great. I think it's great for someone like myself that's getting into it, just like the La Santa that's a little bit sweeter, that's got that sherry taste up front. The La Santa's got more body, whereas this has more sweetness, more of that kind of puckering taste. Not overly sweet, but just a little bit up front more than I would prefer. I'd like that bite to set in mid-palate instead of at the very end from the oak and the wood and the spice. So, but great Scotch. And I think that this whole pack, I think, has just been a complete success. So let me know what you guys think about the Quinta Ruban. Let me know what you guys think about the Glenmorangie line. We'll be back with the final, fourth installment of the gift pack review next week, which will be reviewing the Nectar. And that will finish up our little foray into the Glenmorangie line. So guys, thanks for joining me. This is David Whiskey Blooded. See you next time. Have a great Wednesday.